Well, 2026 has arrived. That means that 2025 has been defeated and has been banished to the Shadow Realm. Is it just completely something random that I just thought about? Probably. But of course, something that is not random is, of course, how many games I've completed. Now, of course, I've been trying to go through my backlog really ever since like 2023, which is kind of shocking to learn. And at first, this probably just screams that I had a lot of games, but no, I some games are generally just very long to complete. And of course, does bring me to today's topic. That is, of course, I am going through every single game that I've completed in 2025. Now, of course, there are some ground rules. Why wouldn't there be? I mean, we gotta stretch this video out for like an hour. But of course, there's some ground rules that I've had for this video. First of all, this must be games that I have completed for the first time in 2025. This cannot include replays. So, I've played Skyrim a lot. I've completed Skyrim many times. Skyrim's not eligible for this list because it's already been completed. Even if the Switch 2 just got a version of Skyrim, which I'm actually really happy about, it is not eligible for the list. Remakes and remasters are eligible for this list if there is enough of a difference compared to the original release that determines whether or not it's a new experience. So, Call of Duty, I guess a bad example. Okay, so like Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox versus PS4, it's a wildly different game. There's a bunch of new stuff added. There's new cars, weapons, outfits, collectibles, and I would argue that it's a new experience. So then Grand Theft Auto would count for these videos. It obviously doesn't because I've completed the PS5 version and PS4 version back in like 2024 and 2022. But that's besides the point. Remakes do in fact count. There was reimagining later on this list that I had played. And of course, there's different criteria for what is a completed game. If it's like a rhythm game, I literally just played all the songs. That's how I did complete it. If it's a fighting game, if it has no story, I usually just did the arcade mode with all the characters or versus mode or something else. But if it's a game with a story, I must have had completed the story. I cannot include games that I gave up almost all the way through. Like, I guess for example, Metal Gear Solid, a game I just reviewed. I got all the way to the end. It's not a 2025 game. I completed it this year. And the final rule is, of course, this does not have to be games that came out in 2025. Because honestly, I don't even know if 2025 had that many games. I will, of course, look that up. So that essentially means that it is literally games that I have played for the first time in 2025 are eligible for this list. And of course, it was like thousands of games released in 2025, which is just kind of shocking to learn about. And so, of course, let's get into the first game of this year, that of course being Resident Evil Revelations. The first game I've completed this year was, of course, Resident Evil Revelations. And of course, I just had a 4-minute long intro explaining why this silly video even exists and the weird rules I made up. Believe me, once I get through the digital backlog, it's probably going to be a little more weird. Okay, so Resident Evil Revelations was one I've already reviewed on the channel, and I like it. Honestly, looking back, I feel like I would probably have changed my score of it. Originally, I gave it a 5 out of 10. but I think I changed it to a 9 out of 10 in retrospect. I like it. It's definitely a fun game. It's not the best Resident Evil game we've had, but for a game that was on a 3DS, it generally was not that bad. Of course, I played on a PS4. I had the 3DS version, but eventually traded in because I'm like, I don't really have much of a reason for this. Revelations was fun. I liked the story, I liked the characters, I liked the gameplay. There's not much else to say about this one. Yeah, I definitely recommend it if you are a Resident Evil fan. Yeah, or if you're just looking for some cool games to play. Can't go wrong with that. Next up is, of course, game number 2, and that is, of course, Heavy Rain. This is a game that I really want to review someday. And, of course, that day is, well, not gonna happen today. Heavy Rain is a murder mystery. It was made by Quantum Dream, who also made Detroit Become Human, which is one of my absolute favorite games. And so this was a bit of a difficult game to get through, and that's mainly because there was some sensitive stuff in this game. But after playing it, it generally became one of my favorite games, and one I've been trying to get a physical copy of. I really did enjoy this game. It's an interactive drama, and got me really into these, actually. It's about a father looking for his missing son. It also focuses on quite a few other characters too, but he's the most important, along with the memes. But this game was fun. I really did enjoy it, and I really do recommend this one. Next up, we of course have Resident Evil Revelations 2, which I was told would be hated, and I gotta find a picture of it. So this was the third game that I've played this year, and was quite fun. Now, originally, I was actually told that Revelations 2 was actually pretty bad. I got told by my girlfriend's girlfriend that I should avoid these games. And when I played this one, it's not a bad game. I don't know, I really did enjoy this one. It's a lot better than Resident Evil Revelations, and honestly, it feels like it could have been a Resident Evil mainline entry. Which kind of sucks that it's just a spin-off. Again, I do recommend this one. There's gonna be a lot of games that I do recommend people. Probably maybe 290, 95, I don't know, 300. I don't know. Math is confusing. Next up is, of course, the fourth game, that of course being Doom 3, which makes no sense because this is Doom 3, and this is the fourth game I've played. Although, technically, this is the fourth mainline Doom game, because Doom 64 came out years earlier. If that's not confusing, I have no idea what is. Doom 3 was of course the fourth game. Now of course, obviously there's a trend so far. These are of course games that I have had trouble getting into. These first 8 games are generally ones that I actually did not really play for a bit, or had issues getting into. Doom 3 was an interesting game. A lot of people hate it. Well, a lot of people have bad opinions. Jokes aside, Doom 3 is actually a really fun game. I can see why people don't like this one, because it changed what the Doom series was at the time. And it was a fast-paced first-person shooter where you killed demons and saved bunnies, or adventure bunnies. And it turned into, I guess, probably Dead Space before Dead Space existed. Because at least EA didn't ruin it. But of course, to a lot of people, whoever made Doom 3 ruined it. I honestly forgot because Bethesda owns the rights for that game now, and I really don't even have any original copies of the original. I just only have the BFG edition, and I do not know where I have that. So, random joke. Yeah. Doom 3 was a fun game. I really did enjoy this one. I was a little mixed on it when you first reviewed it, but looking back, it's generally one of my favorite games and is an excellent horror title. Next up, we of course have Beyond Two Souls, which has probably my favorite actor in it. This was of course my 5th game of last year. Beyond Two Souls is it's a wonderful game. There's not enough I can say about it. I do like Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain a lot better, but this one was also really fun. I like the actors in it, and this actually made me start enjoying Elliot Page a lot more. Yeah, I didn't know he was in this one. I knew who he was because of some TV shows, but I also learned that he was in this one prior to his transition. I do like his character, and I also thought Willem Dafoe was also very cool in this one. I recommend this one, and again, this is another game that I'm trying to find a physical copy of, well, at least on PS4. I have it on PS3 because, well, having enjoyed this game so much, I went on got them on PS3 again. Next up, we of course have BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, which was one I've had for, well, years, and I'm kind of sad to admit that. One word, Ruby. Another word is of course Persona. So, BlazBlue was a game that I was kind of familiar with. I picked up one of the titles on Xbox 360. I don't remember exactly what the title of it was, but Cross Tag Battle was one that I eventually found, and, well, they had characters from Ruby in it, and I'm like, this actually generally could be a very fun game to pick up and play. Eventually, as I got into Persona, that made me also want to play a bit more. And then I just did not touch the game for like 2 years, which is kind of sad. It's a fun game. Being able to play multiple characters from these franchises was pretty cool. And it's probably one of my favorite fighting games. It's not my absolute most favorite fighting game, but it's definitely one that I can recommend to people, and one that I would generally love to return to. Next up, we of course have another fighting game. One that I am kind of surprised I've not reviewed yet, although I probably should. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Now, of course, technically I kind of screwed myself over in the game with this one, because I guess this one is kind of two games. It has the story from Arena, and the new story, I guess they got just mashed together with the PS4 version. I honestly don't know because Google's confusing. All I do know is that I've completed this game. It's a fun game. You can play as the Persona 3 crew or the Persona 4 crew, whichever one that you like, because, well, both are wrong with some people, I guess. I don't know. It's a fun fighting game. I had fun. You can kick the shit out of Teddy. You could beat up Junpei if you don't like him for whatever reason. Or you could just spam Persona. I don't know. It's been like, this was like 300 plus games, ago, and eventually you lose track of what you play or kind of lose shame in what you play. I promise I do not have 10 copies of Skyrim again. I think I was at like 7 at this point. Of course, next up is another surprise. That, of course, being Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, it's EA's less successful Anthem. That joke probably just aged horribly, and it's going to age horribly in like 3 days. Also sucks that Anthem's getting shut down. I tried playing that one. I'm less sad because of the forced multiplayer. Okay, so back to Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda is a fun game. I'm just gonna admit that. I was wrong about that. It was originally in my top games that I gave up on, which honestly is probably like the worst video I've ever done. Aside from, all the random Skyrim rants. I don't know. So Mass Effect Andromeda, yeah, it's a fun game. A lot of people hate this one. A lot of people still hate this one. Then you have people like me who, they play it, they expect like the worst. And it's just like, this is definitely not a bad game. I enjoyed it. Is it the best Mass Effect? Not really. I mean, the Mass Effect trilogy is still going to be the best Mass Effect experience, but Andromeda was also a really fun game, and honestly, I'm glad I played this one. I liked it so much, I ended up getting a physical copy of it because I had it digitally. I even got it on the Xbox One, and hopefully they port it over to the consoles, and hopefully the Mass Effect series also continues because Mass Effect is awesome. Next up, we of course have Language of Love, a visual novel, and this was before I really was starting to measure games by how quickly it would take to complete them, because, oh my god, there's so many games that would have like taken an hour just to complete, and I have stuff like Mass Effect being played, and Doom, which is like 20 hours or like 10 hours. Probably 30 hours if you suck at Doom. I don't know. Moving on. Language of Love is, of course, my ninth game of last year. It's a visual novel. I play a lot of visual novels. There's gonna be a lot of those on this list. And again, I honestly kind of wasn't really caring what I was playing because as long as it was fun, hey, I don't care. This one's about a guy who meets a single mom after meeting her child in a park. He kind of babysits the child and starts getting closer to her, and it's a very heartwarming story about romance. And with me being a huge fan of romance, of course, obviously, this is going to melt my, frozen Nordic heart or Imperial heart. I don't remember what he plays in Skyrim because it's been like forever. It's a love story, and it's actually really good, and I like it. It's not the only visual novel on this list. In fact, the final game of this video is, of course, another visual novel, Edge of Reality. But, of course, before I move on to that one, I also do want to say this was actually one of my first platinums of this year. I forgot how many consoles I've had this game on. But it was one of my first platinums of this year, and I think it was the first platinum of my new account. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I will probably forget to somehow prove this. Aliens exist. I don't know. I don't know why that was like the first thing that came to my mind, but okay. Moving on, I definitely would recommend Language of Love. If you're into rom-coms, and like visual novels, this game definitely feels like it would be right up your alley. Next up is, of course, Edge of Reality. A visual novel. Although, personally, I kind of prefer Center of Reality. That sounds cooler. But, of course, I guess they just had to call it Edge of Reality because reasons. Jokes aside, lame jokes aside, Edge of Reality was actually a really fun game. I like the story. I don't want to say too much of it because I generally feel like people should experience this one. But the story was actually generally fun. I like the writing. I like how the game looks, and it's one that I want to go back and get the platinum on. I recommend this one to people who have not played it yet. It's probably on like every system ever made. Well, at least all ones that people do care about. It's like Xbox. Okay, jokes aside, that was a really bad joke. But of course, these are the first 10 games I've completed of 2025. There's gonna be like 28 more videos of these, plus like probably a definitive best games I've played of this year. Well, last year. It's difficult to get used to this year. I mean, they told us January would be a lot better, but I mean, it got snowy and that wasn't on the brochure. Jokes aside, I guess one of my thoughts on the game so far. Personally, there's not any games that I've completely been disappointed in or have flat out hated. That comes much later. Because with some of these games, the torture generally never stops. But of course, I actually really did like playing for these titles. I wouldn't have really played these titles had I not been going for my backlog. And there's obviously a bunch of other games that could have made that list, but I was cutting it really close to the end of 2024 with some games. Perhaps I will probably do a 2024 list of stuff I've completed. It might be a little difficult to find the exact order of it because there's some 360 stuff. But of course, this has been fun so far. And I obviously plan to do more videos like this. Because as of now, there's of course about well, 280 games left to review, and, well, there's going to be a lot of games being talked about. From racing games, fighting games, horror games, stealth games, action games, fighting games that I probably just mentioned, and I probably just forgot to mention that. More visual novels and party games and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing those videos. I don't know when I will be able to knock them all out because, again, these videos are generally going to take a very long time to do. So, of course, stay tuned for those. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. It's been fun getting to talk about games. It always is. And it's fun getting to continue to make videos into the new year and get to see new people check out this channel. So, of course, I hope you all have had a wonderful year so far. And stay safe. And I will, of course, see you all next time.